My girlfriend stepped out of the bathroom in a sleek black blazer over a silk blouse I'd never seen before. Her hair swept into an elegant low knot instead of the messy ponytail she usually wore on weekends. Steam from her shower still lingered in the hallway, mixing with the sharp citrus note of the perfume she saved for special occasions. I was sprawled on the couch in sweatpants, nursing a mug of tea, halfway through a podcast about deep-sea exploration. The afternoon light poured through our bay window, painting golden stripes across the hardwood we'd refinished together last summer. "You heading somewhere?" I asked, muting the episode. She adjusted an earring in the hallway mirror, avoiding my eyes. "Yeah, grabbing drinks with someone." "Cool. Who?" Her fingers paused on the diamond stud. "An old coworker, Ryan. He's in town for a conference." Ryan. The name hit like a pebble dropped in still water. Ryan was the guy from her first job out of grad school. The one she'd described as brilliant, ambitious, and impossible to work for because he always had to be the center of attention. The one whose late-night strategy sessions had blurred into something more until she finally quit and moved cities to get away from the drama. The one she swore she never wanted to see again. I set the mug on the coffee table. Ryan? The one who... Yes, that Ryan. She cut in, voice clipped. "It's just drinks. Catch up. Nothing more." A beat passed. This was the moment she could have added, "You could come if you want," or "I'll keep it short." Instead, she picked up her clutch, checked her phone, and turned toward me with a look that was almost challenging. "And before you ask," she said, "I'd rather go alone. You're not invited." The words landed softly, almost politely, but they carried the weight of a slammed door. I felt them settle in my chest, cold and precise. Not invited. To drinks with the man she'd once called the biggest mistake of her professional life. The man whose text she'd shown me years ago, drunk and apologetic at 2 a.m., begging her to meet him one last time. That I studied her face for any sign of hesitation. Any flicker that this was a test I was supposed to pass by laughing it off or pretending I didn't care. There was none. Only a calm certainty, as if she'd rehearsed the line. "Got it?" I said, voice steady. She blinked, clearly expecting pushback, an argument, anything to justify the armor she'd put on. When nothing came, her mouth tightened. She gave a small nod, slipped on her heels, and left. The door closed with a gentle click that somehow sounded louder than any fight we'd ever had. I sat there for a long minute, staring at the empty space where she'd stood. The apartment felt suddenly too large, too quiet. Then I felt the velvet box in my jacket pocket. Heavy, ridiculous now. I'd picked up the necklace yesterday, a delicate white gold chain with a small sapphire pendant, the exact shade of the dress she wore to our first real date. I'd planned to give it to her tonight, over takeout from our favorite Thai place, maybe talk about moving in together officially instead of this half-shared arrangement we drifted into. Instead, I stood, walked to my desk, and opened my laptop. The jeweler's website loaded quickly. Return policy. Full refund on custom pieces within 7 days if unclaimed. I filled out the cancellation form, attached the order number, and hit submit. A confirmation email pinged almost immediately. Refund processing. 3 to 5 business days. That I closed the laptop, exhaled, and looked around the living room. Half the shelves were mine, half hers. The couch we'd chosen together. The plants I watered, the art she'd hung. It wasn't just an apartment anymore, it was evidence. Evidence of a future I'd been building alone. I went to the bedroom and dragged the 2 large duffels from under the bed. The ones I'd used when I moved here 18 months ago. I packed methodically. Shirts folded, Jeans rolled, shoes lined up in the bottom. My books from the nightstand. My noise-canceling headphones. The framed photo of my parents stayed. I'd get a new frame later. Her things I left untouched, draped across the chair, spilling from drawers, exactly as they were. Every item I placed in the bags felt like reclaiming territory. The more I packed, the lighter the air became. I carried the first load down to my car, then the second. By the time the trunk was full and the back seat held neatly stacked boxes of kitchen gadgets and winter coats, the sun had dipped low, turning the sky the color of bruised peaches. One final sweep. Toothbrush, charger, the good coffee beans I'd bought last week. I left my key on the kitchen island, next to the spare she'd given me the day I moved in. No note, no dramatic gesture, just the key, glinting under the pendant light. I locked the door behind me, walked down the 3 flights of stairs, and slid into the driver's seat. For a moment I sat there, hands on the wheel, engine off. Then I pulled up her contact, her smiling face from a hiking trip last fall, and blocked the number. Not out of spite, out of hygiene. I drove to a quiet extended stay hotel across town, checked in under my own name, and carried my bags to a room that smelled faintly of lemon cleaner. Bland beige walls, stiff comforter, no memories. Perfect. She came home around 10 that night. I know because I was parked across the street, finishing a burger in my car, debating whether to drive aimlessly or just head to the hotel. Her rideshare pulled up. She stepped out in the same blazer, hair slightly mussed now, cheeks flushed. She looked happy, lighter than she'd looked in months. Then she noticed my car, empty. Then the building door. Then, as she climbed the stairs, the absence inside. I watched her pause on the landing, keys in hand, staring at the dark windows. She disappeared inside. I started the engine and left before the light in the living room came on. The next morning, my phone, new temporary number, stayed silent. Good. I spent the day apartment hunting in a neighborhood 20 minutes away, one with wider streets and older trees. I signed a lease on a 1-bedroom with tall windows and a tiny balcony by early afternoon. The landlord, an older woman named Mrs. Delgado, handed me the keys with a knowing smile that suggested she'd seen this story before. That evening, the first message arrived from an unknown number. Hey, it's me. Can we talk? I think we got our wires crossed yesterday. Drinks were harmless. You're making this bigger than it is. I read it once, deleted it, blocked the number. 2 days later, a voicemail from another unknown. I'm sorry. Okay? I shouldn't have phrased it like that. I didn't mean to hurt you. Ryan's already gone. He flew out this morning. It really was just catching up. Please call me. The apartment feels huge without you. Her voice cracked on the last sentence. I saved the message, then deleted it, blocked the number. The third message was pure venom. Fine. Run away. You always said you hated games, but look at you, ghosting over one drink. Grow up. Blocked. Then came the mutual friend, Jenna, calling from her familiar number. Hey, I heard things are rough. She's pretty upset. Maybe you guys just need to talk it out? She says she messed up the wording, but the intent wasn't bad. I let her finish. Jenna, I said quietly, I appreciate you checking in, but I'm good. Really. Please don't pass messages. I hung up before she could argue, blocked her too for good measure. A week later, an email from an address I didn't recognize. Subject: I went by the jeweler. I saw you canceled the necklace. Same day I left for drinks. You decided while I was still out the door. I get it now. Ryan spent the entire time talking about his new girlfriend and asking if I could introduce him to my single friends. He didn't even remember half the stuff he used to say to me. I sat there realizing I threw away something real for a nostalgia hit that wasn't even real anymore. I'm not asking you to come back. I just needed you to know I finally see it. I lost the best thing I had because I wanted to feel powerful for one night. I have to sit with that now. Take care. I read it twice, then archived it. Not for sentiment, just in case I ever doubted my memory. 3 months passed. I turned the new apartment into a home. New couch, new plants, new routines. Work was good. Weekends were hikes with old friends I'd neglected, pick up basketball, cooking meals without checking if someone else liked the spices. One Friday night, I was at a rooftop bar downtown with colleagues, celebrating a project launch. The city lights stretched out below us, music thumping softly, laughter easy. I was mid-story, gesturing with a gin and tonic, when I spotted her across the crowd. She was thinner, hair shorter, wearing a dress I didn't recognize. She stood near the railing with a small group, none of whom I knew, nursing a glass of white wine. Her eyes scanned the rooftop and stopped when they found me. For a second, we just looked at each other across the noise and bodies. No wave, no smile. She raised her glass slightly, a question in the tilt of her head that I turned back to my group, finished the story, and laughed at the reaction. When I glanced again a minute later, she was gone from the railing. Later, as we headed downstairs, I saw her waiting by the elevators with one remaining friend. She stepped forward when she saw me. "Hi," she said, voice barely carrying over the music spillover. "You look happy." I nodded. "I am." She swallowed. "I just wanted to say in person, I'm glad you're okay. And I'm sorry. For real this time." The elevator dinged. My colleagues filed in, holding the door. I met her eyes one last time. There was no anger left in me, no lingering ache, just the quiet certainty of a chapter closed. "Thank you," I said. "Take care." I stepped into the elevator. The doors slid shut on her small, sad smile. Back on the street, the night air was cool and full of possibility. My friends were debating late-night tacos. I joined the conversation without hesitation, my laughter mixing with theirs as we walked into the city lights. I was exactly where I belonged.